Perfectionism and happiness cannot coexist. They just can't. And today I'm going to show you how to ditch the chase for perfect and how to embrace a life that is filled with imperfect success and great happiness. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Marci Shimoff. I'm a featured teacher in The Secret. I'm the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul books and the creator of Your Year of Miracles. And over the years, I have seen how the pursuit of perfection can rob people of their joy and of their peace of mind. But here's the great news. There is a way out. And we're going to explore that together today. So let's take a quick look at perfectionism. Now, just hearing the word might make you cringe, right? It is that relentless drive to be flawless, to do everything perfectly, and to never make a mistake. Well, here's the thing. Perfectionism can be exhausting, and it can actually hold you back from living a truly happy and fulfilling life. And today we're going to talk about why it's time to let go of perfectionism and how you can embrace imperfection and how that can lead you to a happier and really more joyful version of you. So if you've ever felt like you are constantly chasing some impossible standard, or like you just never quite measure up, you're never quite good enough, then this is a conversation for you. And I'm here to tell you that you do not have to be perfect to live a miraculous life. I promise you. And I know that we've all been there. We've set a goal, we're excited about it, and then boom, that inner critic shows up and tells you that you're just not good enough, or that you just have to get it right. And it judges you at every step of the way. And perfectionism really can sneak into everything, every corner of your life, whether it's your work or your relationships or just your overall journey in life. And it can really be sneaky. I know how perfectionism disguises itself. We think of it, oh, that's just, I have high standards, or I just have a really strong work ethic. But really, that's just fear in a fancy outfit. It's the fear of failure, or the fear of judgment, or the fear of not being loved or accepted. But perfectionism really is a trap. And the more you chase perfect, the more you miss out on the beauty of the present moment. So I want to share with you a story about when I was writing my book, Happy for No Reason. And I will tell you, I was writing Happy for No Reason because I was wanting to learn how to be happier. And I had so much doubt as I was writing the book, even though I had interviewed all of the experts and I'd interviewed 100 unconditionally happy people, and I'd really learned a lot and I'd applied it and it was working for me. I thought to myself, who am I to do this? Why would people listen to me? And every step of the way, I would question myself. Oh, that's not a good sentence. That's not a good point. That point's been said before. And I tell you, all of this nearly kept me from writing a book that has gone on to be on the New York Times bestseller list for many, many, many weeks. And it's sold, over 1 million copies. It's been out in many languages. It's become a PBS special. It's really helped countless people around the world to live happier lives. And if I had listened to that voice of perfectionism all of those years ago, I would probably still have a half-written manuscript sitting in a desk drawer right now. And I'd be wondering, what if I had done that? And honestly, I kind of feel really sad when I think about what would have happened if I had really let that perfectionism get the best of me. So, I really am a stand for something like that never happening to you. And I want to make sure that you step forward in your life, even when you've got those perfectionist habits or tendencies that want to try to hold you back. So I'm going to share some practices with you right now that you can use to avoid that trap of perfectionism. But before I do, I just want to talk about some of the impacts that perfectionism can have. It can lead to burnout. When you're constantly striving to be perfect, you just put an immense amount of pressure on yourself. And it leads to stress and anxiety and health problems. And If you find yourself working really long hours, but you're never feeling satisfied with what you achieve, or you're constantly worrying about what other people think, it's not good for your health. It can lead to, sleepless nights. It can lead to binge eating. It can lead to high blood pressure, adrenal burnout. So not good for your health. And then, of course, it's not good for your relationships either. I don't know about you, but constantly being under pressure and stressed out doesn't make me much fun to be around. I can tell you that my husband doesn't like it when I'm feeling so completely stressed out from being a perfectionist. So I tell you, I remember being on a video shoot. We had this whole camera crew on site, and I felt all of this pressure. I felt like the success of the entire company was resting on my shoulders with how I was going to do, whether, my whole team's well-being, their jobs hinged on how well I did on those videos. And I felt this huge weight on my shoulders, and the pressure just made me feel impatient and irritable, to the point where one of my team members broke out in tears because she felt like she was letting me down. And that's not how I wanted her to feel at all. So we get caught up in perfectionism. You might find yourself being overly critical, not just of yourself, but of other people too. You might just expect the people in your life to meet those same impossible standards that you've set for yourself. And that just leads to tension. It leads to bad feelings, misunderstandings, lack of connection with other people. So it's important that we really deal with this perfectionism. So how do we start to let it go? The first step is awareness. Start paying attention to those times when perfectionism shows up. Maybe it's when you're getting ready to submit a project at work and you just keep on tweaking it endlessly. Or maybe it's when you're getting ready for an event and you feel like you've just got to look absolutely perfect. Or you're putting together a dish for a potluck and you want to impress your in-laws, and you've made 3 trips to the store to just make sure you have everything right. You get all the right ingredients, and you're in the kitchen all day working on the thing. Well, here's a secret. Done is better than perfect. Seriously, I have seen so many amazing projects and ideas and opportunities go to waste because someone was waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect vision. Life isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about being authentic. It's about being you. And so one powerful practice that you can start using today is to embrace the idea of good enough. It doesn't mean that you're settling. It doesn't mean that you're lowering your standards. It means that you're acknowledging that perfection is an illusion, and that what you've done is already valuable and worthy. And it's about celebrating progress, not perfection. Are you here with me for this? Give me a thumbs up if this is hitting home for you, or just drop an emoji in to let me know that this is hitting you. All right, here's another thing. Let's talk about self-compassion. We are so hard on ourselves sometimes, especially women. And, if you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself. And men, I know that you might also feel the incredible pressure to perform and to live up to impossible standards. This has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. And I also know that we all tend to give our friends or our buddies a hard time sometimes. So my advice is this. My advice on self-compassion is, if you wouldn't say it to a beloved friend or to a beloved pet, don't say it to yourself. That may or may not work for you, but the bottom line is, start treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to someone you love. And by the way, keep on watching, because in just a couple minutes, I'm going to give you a step-by-step formula to begin overcoming perfectionism and overly critical thoughts, while you also have more self-compassion in your everyday experience. So I want to tell you about a woman named Sarah that I worked with. And she was a perfectionist through and through. And everything in her life had to look perfect to the outside world. Her house, her home was just impeccable. It looked like it came straight out of the pages of one of those lifestyle magazines. And she was obsessed about her home and how it looked. She was obsessed about her body. She worked out crazily. She was really successful about her career. She was obsessed with that, but no matter how high she climbed, she never felt satisfied or fulfilled. And instead of celebrating her wins, instead of giving herself a break now and then, she was always thinking, what's next? What's next? And I will tell you that even though her life may have looked perfect from the outside, on the inside, I knew she was constantly stressed out. She was worried always that she was going to not be okay, not be good enough. And she never felt like she could relax. And this self-imposed pressure took a toll on her relationship, on her friendships, and she wasn't happy. I remember talking with her many times about how she was unhappy and about the possibility of letting go of those impossible standards that she had set for herself. But she said that, most of her life she had been ruled by fear and that she couldn't shift. So I don't know if that hits home with you in any way. Maybe you can identify with at least part of her story. So you want to know what happened with Sarah? Well, it wasn't easy at first, but she made a decision to release perfection. And slowly but surely, everything changed. Actually, it happened faster than she even thought it would happen. She started to see that her worth wasn't tied into her achievements or just getting everything right. And she started to just breathe again and just enjoy herself. And she learned that it was okay to sleep in once in a while and to just sit on the back porch and to just enjoy her favorite dessert and to laugh at her mistakes and to really appreciate the journey instead of obsessing over the destination. And you know what? Not only did she become happier, but her work actually improved. She became maybe not absolutely as perfect with everything for sure, but it actually gave her the space to really become more creative and more inspired and even more connected with the people around her. And I loved getting to witness her transformation. It was just a perfect example of how letting go of perfectionism can lead to a happier and more fulfilling life. Because honestly, the truth is that perfectionism kills creativity, it stifles our innovation, and perfectionism is what keeps us playing small because we're so focused on getting everything perfect that we're afraid to take risks. We're afraid to be bold. We're afraid to try new things. So, does this resonate with you in any way? If so, just comment, yes, Marci, it resonates. Let me know below so I can really know if this is striking you. When you let go of that need to be perfect, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You give yourself permission to try, to fail, and to grow. And it is that space in which we have permission, where we can find joy and freedom, and we can find what it is we really most want, which is feeling that love inside of ourselves, that connection to others. It's really hard to feel love for ourselves when we're constantly judging ourselves with measuring up against a standard of perfection. So, how do we start? You give yourself permission to be imperfect. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have those flaws. It is part of being human. Congratulations. We are human and we are imperfect. In fact, those imperfections make you uniquely you. And the more you embrace those, the more you're going to find that others will too. So click the like button below if you're enjoying this and if you're giving yourself permission to be imperfect. I know I am. I know I've stumbled here and it's okay. You guys aren't judging me for that and I am loving myself for it. So the next step is to practice self-compassion. When you catch yourself being overly critical, just pause and ask yourself, is that thought serving me? Would I say that to someone that I love? And if the answer is no, then it's time to replace that thought with something kinder, more loving, more supportive. And then finally, I invite you to celebrate your wins, big and small. Perfectionists, they overlook their accomplishments because they're so focused on what's not being done or what's not perfect. So instead, I want you, with every step you take forward, every little bit of progress that you make, I want you to know that that deserves to be acknowledged. So right now, just take a moment and celebrate something that's a small step that you've taken lately, or some small success that you've had. And don't be afraid to just like go, yay, or give yourself a big cheer, or do a little victory dance in the kitchen. Just enjoy. One of my very favorite quotes of all times is progress, not perfection. I'm going to say it again. Progress, not perfection. When you start focusing on progress, you just shift your energy. It goes from one of being really stressed out and one of anxiety to one of growth and celebration. And you start to see that this life is a journey. It's that every step that we take moves us forward. And it's about enjoying. It's not just about getting there. I know you've heard that a zillion times before, but let's remind each other about it. It's about enjoying how we're doing as we go along the way. And when we let go of perfectionism, we open ourselves up to all of the grand life experiences that are out there for us. We open ourselves up to the highs and the lows and the successes and the learning moments. And all of that makes life more rich and meaningful. So here's what I want you to do. As you go through your day, I want you to remind yourself that you don't need to be perfect to be worthy of your own love, of your own happiness. You deserve to live life that is filled with joy and connection and peace. And if you find yourself slipping back into those perfectionist tendencies, remember, don't beat yourself up for it. That's just normal. Remember that you're human. You're in good company. We all do that. So don't beat yourself up for slipping back into the perfectionist tendencies, but just go, oh, there I go. I'm not going to do that right now. And learn to just love and embrace everything that's going on, your imperfections, and you will live with more ease and more grace. I know this. So are you ready to live a happier and more fulfilling life? I've got a free workbook for you. I love it. I think that you will. It's called 21 Ways to Raise Your Happiness Set Point, and it contains really powerful practices that I have distilled from my New York Times bestseller, Happy for No Reason. And these practices are simple, but they can really help raise your capacity to experience more joy and happiness in your life. So be sure to grab your copy right now before you move on to the next thing on your list. Just click the link below to get your copy. And I will tell you, I am here. I am cheering you on every step of your way. And remember, progress, not perfection. And here's to you living a happier, more fulfilled life where you can embrace and actually enjoy every beautiful and imperfect moment. I send you my love.